Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is Monday and it is the 1st of December, so we are into the last month of the year. And it's usually a fairly good month. Maybe we can have a little bit of a Christmas rally, but let's see. The pre-market is not that good. But just to let you know that this video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. So let's see what's going on here. Oracle, I haven't talked about that for a very, very long time. A lot of talks are going on about it. And as you can see, it has lost almost half of its market cap, about 40% here the past couple of months. Currently trading around this consolidation area here, around 200, very close to close this gap here. But it bounced a little bit, can bounce a little bit more maybe, but we are below the 200 moving average. It looks like a little bit of bubble that is about to implode. If it takes out the lows here from last week at 185.60, well, then there is a risk down to below 150, maybe even down to these lows here from Q2 around 120, 125. So quite negative lookout. Also, we saw this massive sell-off here where it tried to lift it, but it couldn't hold on. Just also very quickly, let's talk semiconductors. Semiconductor ETF here that illustrates the index has bounced very strongly and could continue to bounce further towards the previous all-time highs. We still have this bearish engulfing candle-like pattern here that indicates a top reversal, but this bounce has been quite strong. We saw a gap up there. If RSI gets back above 60 threshold, well, then we have further confirmed the bullish picture. But it's not because of Nvidia that is testing 176.76 support there that has closed. Did it close? It actually closed a little bit below here Friday, and we are below the cloud, we are below moving averages. There's no negative sentiment, so it's still positive sentiment here on this RSI. So on a knife's edge at the moment to push lower or to bounce. So it is other stocks that has lifted it, like Applied Digital and also Intel. Very strong move here Friday. So it seems like it's really coming back, and the United States has invested in it for some here back in Q3, Q4 that lifted it, and it seems like it's going to move higher if it can stay above these lows, and it seems like it's a very strong trend there. The overall market, S&P 500, Nasdaq 100, let's start with that. Still has this also bearish engulfing there. That is top and reversal. We have a little bit of an island reversal here with this doji up there. So still choppish. RSI still needs to get back above 60 threshold or 60 threshold. If it does close above, then we are back in positive sentiment on Nasdaq 100. And we could see it pushing higher. We're already above the cloud area here. We're above 55 moving average. We actually have established a bullish trend, just need confirmation with a close higher. Because what is interesting is that should be noted that pre-market here we have the future, the Nasdaq 100 mini future has set back this early morning in Asian session and early morning here in European session about 0.85%, testing the rising trend line there that it got back above. RSI being rejected there at just below 60 threshold, so still negative sentiment. So let's see what can be going on. Yes, we are above the cloud, we are above 55 moving average. So a little bit on the limbo there also. We need RSI to get back above 60 threshold. On S&P 500, that also closed higher Friday. RSI closed just below the 60 threshold, and that is the threshold for going into positive sentiment. So if it does close above 60 threshold, well, then it's further confirmed that. But the bullish trend, and I think that will play out if S&P 500 closes about 870. But I think it will play out eventually. But here pre-market, as we can see, we are down 0.6% at the moment. So it is indicating that a little bit of a setback after Friday's very strong market. It was only a half day though, but still. So let's see what will play out here. On the Asian market, the Hang Seng closed just below the, as you can see, just below the 60 threshold. No, sorry, not the Hang Seng. I'm babbling here this morning. This is, of course, the Russell 2000. What am I talking about? Sorry about that. So it is back above the cloud. RSI flirting with the 60 threshold, very close to its all-time highs here. I think it will do that eventually. Then let's move on to Hang Seng. I pushed the wrong button there, but let's see. Hang Seng failed to close above the cloud, failed to close above the trend line there. It's more like a guideline, and I think I actually will remove it because it's not that significant anymore. RSI lastly closed below 40 threshold, so still a negative sentiment. So let's see if it can actually get back above the cloud and back above the 55 moving average. That will support the bullish picture. In the Nikkei future sent back, failed to close above 50,615. That would have re-established the bullish trend for now. So we are still in this range bound here and down to 48,000. European market Friday that has bounced strongly. We have EURUSTOXX50, still positive sentiment. You see how it bounced off the 40 threshold, so still positive sentiment. If it can get back above the falling trend line and the 60 threshold there, well, then it is further adding to the bullish picture that I think we will see, but we are pre-market a little bit back there, or set back a little bit. DAX index, also fairly good day Friday, but as you can see, negative sentiment because it closed below 40 threshold, needs to close back above 60, and we're below the cloud, we are below the 100 and the 55 moving average. It needs to get back above here, and RSI needs to get back above 60 threshold to establish a bullish trend. We have the pre-markets sitting back a little bit. On the FX market, the euro dollar very close to the 786 retracement there, just around 116.20. Could still bounce up to 116.55, but strong resistance at 116.70. So that will be key to watch here the next couple of days. If it takes out the lows there from Friday 115.50, well, then I think we will see downtrend resuming. Still negative sentiment on the RSI. What we can do, we can draw a trend line here on the RSI and see if it breaks back below that, and if it moves back below 40 threshold, then we have bearish negative sentiment resuming. The sterling dollar struggling to gain further momentum, but there is a potential to 133, where we have the 55 moving average coming up around the 61.8 retracement there. So let's see. I think if it takes out the lows today, because it's been quite volatile here in Asian station this morning, if it takes out the lows today, then I think we will see it setting back. But for now, it's actually establishing a bullish trend. Just need a confirmation with the 60 threshold being closed above here for RSI. Let's see if we can do that. Euro sterling that has been sliding back here the past few weeks. Seems to be bouncing from the 55 moving average. Didn't get it down to the 61.8 retracement, and could resume uptrend. So what I will do, if this is the case, I'll put in the Fibonacci on this one. Yeah, I know it clutters the chart a little bit, but if it can start moving back above 88, then I think we'll see uptrend resuming. Still positive sentiment on the RSI, and if it can close back above 60 threshold, it will support that the euro sterling has most likely resumed uptrend. Potential up to, and if it takes out, and I'll actually let me draw a trend line there. So if it takes out 88.20, always add a little bit to the upside, and the 61.8 retracement, then uptrend is back in session. The yen pairs are in a correction mode. We have dollar yen setting back a bit, and is if it want to show itself here, there we are. And I think we will see it sliding back to around 154.80, 154.60, where we have the 38.2 retracement of this leg up there. And why not from here? Because we had this move here. So this is a more clean one. So I think that is more relevant to it. You see the broken below the steep rising trend line. However, there's no divergence on the other side. You see this peak here is higher than here, so it's supporting the view that we will see higher levels. We just need a correction where it can set back to. So let's see if it. I think we'll reach that. We'll reach lower levels. It is not unlikely though. So keep an eye on what's going on there. Euro yen also correction phase. Could 179.60. There's a little bit of support there, but we could see it dipping lower to the falling trend line, possibly down to 178.85, maybe even 178.10, which is the 61.8 retracement. Aussie yen failed to push higher and take out this peak there. You will see RSI values declining, so we are a bit stressed here on the RSI, on the price graph. Aussie yen here, 100, between 100 and a bit, and 102.5. That's, I think that will be the range here for quite some time. Could be quite volatile, but if it takes out the peak there and RSI pushes back up here, well, then we will see a move above 103. Sterling yen. Sterling yen also sitting back, and let's also add a Fibonacci to this one so we can see where we can get some guidelines. At least I think we could see it setting back to around 204, the 38.2 retracement before it pushes higher, possibly. But let's see about a correction. That could actually take it lower than that, but I think we'll see it down to that level there. The Aussie dollar flirting now with this falling trend line. It's not the strongest one. The strong one is actually the upper part of the cloud here at 65.60. That it seems to be key. An RSI 60 threshold that is also key. Needs to close above both. Then we have established a bullish trend. But for now, you can see the declining 55 moving average weighing on it. So I think we could see it sliding low if it can't get it back above that level there. Dollar Canada. Opened much lower this morning. Well, it dipped lower there Friday, but bounced back above the minor support at 139.70. It's not the strongest one. The stronger one is down here just around 139, 138.85, where we all have the cloud support. We have the 100 moving average, so that is also giving some support, and the 200 moving average there. And now we are back above here, so we could crawl higher here the next few days. What you could also do, you can add a Fibonacci to this one so you can see where there are some interesting levels, some levels to keep an eye on. And here 61.8 retracement. If we move above that, then I think we'll see uptrend being resumed. There's still positive sentiment on the RSI, so let's see if can re-establish the bullish trend. And you can draw trend lines here, so if it moves back above that trend line there, then it could be an early warning for higher levels. Sterling Canada, that got knocked back down from the 55 moving average and 50% of the sell-off there. So we are back down in this area. Still negative sentiment on the RSI, and we can draw trend lines here also on the RSI. You can do that. That's sometimes early warning. If it breaks back below the below a rising trend line and the 40 threshold here, then a downtrend is likely to be back in motion with lower levels likely to follow. EURSwiss, quite volatile this morning in thin trading. Positive sentiment indicating likely higher levels. I think we will see it pushing up to around 93.85, 94, where we have some stronger resistance here. We are in a bullish trend, positive sentiment supporting higher levels. Dollar Swiss setting back a little bit, almost to the 38.2 retracement there at 80.15, but let's see if it can bounce higher. Positive sentiment indicating we will see dollar Swiss up to around 82, maybe 82, 81.70, 81.50, but it is not that convincing. However, we have the 100 moving average, and we have the 55 coming around there supporting a little bit, but it's a bit fragile. So dollar index sitting back, as we can see, and that also follows nicely with the euro dollar, opposite euro dollar picture that is still in a bouncing mode. Dollar index 786 retracement there, 99.18 is likely to be tested here in the European session. Key support here at 98.87. But then we have the 55 moving average coming up. We also had the 100 that will give some support. So I think it will stop there. However, we can see the 200 moving, kind of trying to drag it down. So there was a battle going on between the longer term and the medium term underlying sentiment and trends. Onto metals and precious metals, we have gold spot here breaking the falling trend line, so breaking out of this triangle-like pattern, symmetrical triangle-like pattern, and currently testing this peak here. And I think we are just a little bit above it. So there's now potential up to the peak area, all-time highs here, around 43.80 level, 82. I think it will reach it, and I think it will take it out, given that we have the 60 threshold on the RSI. We are back above that. We establish a bullish trend. All indicators pointing to higher levels, and I wouldn't be surprised towards the year end we are up here in 4,400, maybe even 4,500, as long as it can stay above the trend line here. We could see, sometimes we see it moving back to test the falling trend line and then take off, but it seems fairly strong at the moment. So let's see if it will do that or not. Silver has been leading by a strong move. Friday we have this ascending triangle-like pattern, so a continuation pattern that it broke bullish out of, and it moved all the way up almost to $58 here, this 161.8 retracement. I think if it takes out the peak today, well, then we are looking at $60, and that will be a massive move. We are in a bullish trend. Now there's divergence here. You can see these values here are lower here than here, and that's indicating trend is awesome. But for now, the trend is your friend with higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. A little bit of a setback, and then we could see a move higher. Platinum is of course also being dragged up very close to test its previous peak there, 1734, and as we can see, it is actually now also back in a bullish trend. Very volatile there Friday. I think there were some issues with the exchange. RSI positive and is indicating likely higher levels on platinum. Copper also crawling higher. When you see it re-establish the bullish trend, RSI back above 60 threshold, further confirming the bullish picture. Tested the 61.8 retracement here at 533.75 this morning of this massive sell-off we saw back in July. So we seems if it can stay above here and close above, well, then there's potential higher in the coming weeks towards 560. On the energy side and crude oil, well, we have the WTI crude oil bouncing a bit, and we could see it bounce up to the 55 moving average and the lower part of the cloud. You could also add a Fibonacci to this downtrend there. We are still in a downtrend. See, we actually reached 50%. We could see it move up to 60.5 at the 61.8 retracement there. The bullish trend was the bearish trend will still be intact though. Basically same picture on the Brent crude oil. Of course, there can be some differences, but more or less the same picture. We could see it bounce up to the 64.80, the 61.8 retracement there, and the 55 moving average. European nat gas just keeps selling off. So now we are almost close to 27.90 support here that goes really far back. I've shown it a couple of times. I think we'll reach that negative sentiment, a little bit stretched, so we could see a bounce from around that level. US nat gas pushing higher, and let's see where we are. We are very close to the 490, that spike up there back in March. And if it closes back above, well, then we have to go even further back. We can see we are into this fast area, so we could see higher levels. And I think it's very cold in most of Northern Europe, Northern America at the moment. So if it moves back above $5, that could really hurt them. On the yield side, we have the US 10-year Treasury yields. It's bouncing a little bit from just above the 786 retracement there at 398. We could see it bouncing further, but if it takes out that lows there from a few days ago, well, then we could be looking at 393. So what I will do, I will add a Fibonacci also to this downtrend here and see where there are levels we could bounce to. We see 50% there at 407 and 38.2 retracement at 405. A little bit of bounce, but again, if it takes out that, then the downtrend is continuing. European yields bouncing this morning here, lifting it towards the previous peak there at 274. If it takes it out, well, then we are looking at 280. UK yields also being lifted this morning here. Still a bit depressed, which is good for them, of course. But it never got down to retest after the sell-off there. So I think we could see it crawling higher towards 456 level. The Japanese, on the other hand, is pushing much higher. And you can see these levels here around 2% going really far back, I think back to the 1990s or something like that. And with the move here this morning, it has paved the way towards that, and we could see 2% possibly here in December. Of course, there will be setbacks, but it looks very strong trend. Bitcoin is being sold off here, starting in Asia time zone this morning here, setting back. So it didn't get all the way up to 97,000. Can still do it if it takes out the spike up there from a few days ago to 93,162, but seems to be not that in a good mood. If it takes out the 80 level, 80 and a half, well, then we have to go really far back. Then we are back here in April earlier this year, around 73,000. Ethereum also lost momentum. Let's see if it can be lifted, or will it take out the lows there? Then we are looking at 73 and maybe even 24. It's an early morning here, Monday, sorry about that, and at 2100. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and talk to you again later.